here we are Saturday, Keith. This is the last Saturday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. Bring it on. I'm hungry.
Let's talk racing here today, though. Welcome to Today at the Races. Let's go ahead and take a look at the track at what we've got going on outside. Track is fast and the turf is nice and firm, Keith.
Yeah, no doubt. Get your turf action and your bets in early. We only got a couple more days of the turf here, it looks like, in Laurel, Maryland. You never know. Maybe they'll surprise us. But
I love surprises.
I tell you, I looked at Thursday's card. Those fields are huge all on the dirt.
They
But it's a
are.
beautiful day today. A little cooler, a little breezy. I'm ready. We had a decent day yesterday. We were around it a lot. And I kind of did a little cheating, looked at some picks earlier this morning, which you guys had to you and Tim. Look, we're around a lot of the same horses, it looks like, today. So hopefully we're seeing the ball this afternoon. But I like a couple price shots. One big price shot we'll get to, and a couple medium shots to go along the way. But we're ready.
Let's kick things off before we dive into those picks, Keith. And let's kick things off with this early pick 5 in race number 1. This is a 3/4 of a mile affair on the dirt. For the girls, 3, 4, and 5, and this maiden claiming 12-5. Scratching the 1 Voodoo Priestess, scratching the 11 Giamaya. Keith, you and I both have Flitter on top. This is, of course, Miguel Vera, JVN Toledo, taking the big drop down today.
Yeah, I mean, you hear me say it all the time. All or nothing, and I think frustrations have kind of maybe really set in with his daughter of Great Notion. She showed some real promise her first couple races, and then, the blinkers, the fronts went on that race on October the 19th, and she just didn't fire at all. Chased a little even on the turf. Okay, now with the Lasix is coming off, the blinkers came off last time, so you're looking at this field, I mean, where do you really go? Who's really proven? I mean, if she comes even remotely close to those first 2 dirt tries, she's a winner. We'll give her one final shot here. I'll know probably by the far turn what it's going to look like, because I want to see her against this group on the engine and hopefully clearing as they leave the 3/8.
Absolutely. So, Keith, you go 10-2-7-9 with the number 2 underneath in Pumpkin. You also go with Best Worst Idea and then number 9 Panther Command underneath.
Yeah, Pumpkin, like a chaser, probably going to be put into the race early, dropping as well, like Flitter. So these two should provide some flow, no doubt about it. Pumpkin had a little bit of trouble last time out. You see that short comment, steadied at the half, but just kept on with effort. The drop has got to pick the heads up of these 2 horses, I think, dropping down. 7 horse, Best Worst Idea, lost all chance at the break. Doesn't have a big move, but it's a chase and maybe a stayer at this level. Panther Command, I thought was encouraging. You look at maiden 62.50 and you're thinking, okay, jumping up in class, this might be a step sideways today for this one. Again, Flitter either wins or I think is off the ticket. That's kind of the way I see it.
Yep, see it the same way there, Keith, as he goes 10-2-7-9, race number 1. Race number 2 kicks off the early pick 4, but also, Keith, you give us a pick 3 that starts in race number 2 as well.
Yeah, I was looking at this early pick 4. We'd like to do that. Hit that yesterday. We've had our last couple payouts.
There we go.
I mean, they haven't been monstrous payouts, but they're getting you going, giving you some money to burn and churn. $24. This is a spread for me. 2, 3, 5, 10, 12 to get you started in this earlier pick 3 races, 2 through 4. The 2 a big number there. Race 3, 2, 5, 7, 10. Succeed. I like his little price in there, along with Bill of Rights, 15-1 on the line. Wrap it up. Delacour might have this one surrounded in race 4 with the 4 and the 11. There's your ticket, $24. We need to catch one of those bigger prices out of the first 2 races.
There we go. There we have it for Keith Fustel's pick 3 that starts in race number 2, and this is an allowance optional 12.5, going a mile on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 1, 6, 11, 14, 15, and 16. Keith, you have the number 2 on top, now taking the rail in formal order for Billy Campbell, Xavier Perez.
A little bit of flow in here, no doubt about it. We'll get to a video of Kobolov in a second. But I want to talk about formal order. Billy Campbell, hasn't really run many horses the last few years, but you know what? Very, very capable trainer. I like the confidence here. You're claiming for a nickel up to 10, back to the turf where this horse has run its best buyer figure. Been a real laggard the last couple, but you go back on that race at Monmouth in June, chased a pretty quick pace, stayed around, next out winner, hey, X-Man, Billy Campbell, we've seen the Campbells and the X-Man through the years has some success. Why not at a big number here to sit a trip inside and make a run? Got a bullet work as well coming into this, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, over the turf course. So there you go. There's a big price for you.
And you go with number 5 underneath in a Cobolo for Marcus Lavaggio. Yomar Torres takes the irons, but we're going to take a look back at this last Laurel lawn effort.
Yeah, I thought this was good. My boy Colton and Cobolo, if they go at it, they're back at it again today. Cobolo's just steady. I like him at the mile distance, and I just think he's going to be a major player in here. He can sit from just off of it as well if he wants to draft in behind horses. I think he's going to have the ability to sit and move from just off of it. Very willing to the wire. My boy Colton Flow from the inside. I guess King's Honor you got to take a look at, but at the price that he's going to be, I'm gonna go elsewhere. I'll use him underneath. I'm going to key around the 2 and the 5 in my exact as top and bottom and work those other ones underneath. Battalion's an interesting horse. He's run well fresh. Last race, not good at all. A little bit of an excuse there. So there's some interesting horses. Even the last sip I wouldn't completely dismiss here, given a clean trip in today's second race. But to me, it's still kind of wide open. You got a suspect, shorter prices in the 12 and the 10, so let's go elsewhere.
Going wide in there on his pick 3 ticket in his first leg here in race number 2, but Keith Fusel's top 4 are 2, 5, 3, 10. Race number 3 is a claiming 16,000, which have never won 2, going a mile here on the dirt. Scratching the 4, scratching the 11 for the 3-year-olds and up. Keith, on the outside, you have the number 10 in Succeed for Raymond Gitter Jr. Martino Rojas gets the call.
Sorry about that, Callie.
No worries. I know you can
multitask. I did not know the notification sound was up on the phone. That happens sometimes. But, yeah, Succeed. Why not? Again, you got a couple scratches in here. So moving in just a touch is Succeed. But I look at the races at Laurel. They work for me. This horse has positional speed, and I think there's going to be some flow in here, especially with the 1 Sways in My DNA going out. Storming Chrome does his best work up front. Bill of Rights is interesting. I think we'll talk. But this one here, the race is going longer. That mile and the 16th race at Timonium, well clear of a lot of sense, who's held form of recent note here, going a mile and a mile 60. It gives me some hope here. I like this horse at a little price, maybe in that 9 to 2 to 6 to 1 range when it's all said and done.
Keith Fusel 10-7-5-2 there in race number 3. Race number 4, his last leg of his pick 3 sequence that he gave us is in this maiden special weight. It starts off the Rainbow pick 6. Let's take a look just really quick at my ticket. I go on the other end. I give a bare bones, but 2 deep here with the 4 and the 11. The 13 does draw in, which we'll get to when we get to race number 4. But race number 5 and race number 6. Race number 6, if you are able to go a couple more deep in there, I think the race might majorly run through the 3 and the 8, but a couple of them are interesting underneath. So we'll see how we'll get to that in that allowance. I go 3 deep in the 7, 4 deep in the 8. I think it's a little bit touch of a wide open affair, but I single in on the 8 in race number 9, a $19.20 ticket. But let's get back to business here in this maiden special weight, going 6 furlongs on the turf as opposed to our usual 5.5 for these straight 2-year-olds. Scratch the 2, 6, and 12. The 13 draws in, the 14 draws in. Keith, you go with the number 11 in Coringa. This is of course Arnold Delacour has 2 in here, but this is his outside horse with Victor Carrasco on top.
Yeah, we talk about this 87-foot rail setting. We've watched it. The speed can kind of carry a little bit longer out there. But Coringa and Delacour with Eastern Extension, I think both of these two mean business. Eastern Extension has the experience on the turf, but Coringa, practical joke, the sire, so-so, about 10 or 11% with the turf runners. But I go bottom side here. The mare was 3 for 9, topped at a 77. And when Delacour makes this move, here's a little stat for you. 3rd career start, but trying the turf for the first time. He's 3 for 9 and 6 for 9 with that kind of angle. So that works for me. This is a bigger horse. I like the position of him outside. I think he can dog it. He's run well both starts. He's a stayer in here from the get-go. Is Coringa. Eastern Extension, the other Delacour runner. We have video of that race from October the 5th. Also in there is Mission North, who draws the rail again today. But Eastern Extension, the 9 this particular afternoon, was caught 5 deep into the turn, put to a real strong ride about mid-turn, and just kind of kept on churning against the right kind. Beltane, street rocking, I thought would run a little bit better longer. It didn't, but runs big here today to get it done. But this horse just keeps on grinding through the final eighth of a mile after that wide overland trip. Second dam was a Group 3 winner going 7/8 of a mile. I think this one's going to be fine right here. Be able to save ground around the turn, because that trip definitely took some of the starch out of Eastern Extension.
Yes.
So one of these Delacour horses for me, primed to go, turning back, had some trouble at Monmouth. I think we'll keep rallying late. A firster, and you've got this one in the mix as well. Do you have any notes you want me to talk about? The 10, Always Fun.
Why don't you talk about? I took a look and I said I'm following a little bit of the Gina Perry angle here, so that's what I went with. But why don't you go ahead and give your piece?
That works. You're right, because the ROI is there for this trainer. Not a lot of horses, but from a breeding standpoint, the mare was unraced. Both siblings ran well in debut. They ran second, and the half sister showed some pretty good ability in the turf. And this top side, fantastic. He could run all day on the grass. He was kind of a forward horse, if I remember correctly. The stats, he's only 1 for 25 with the first-time starters, but he's had some horses really take to the lawn. So why not? Good angle there. I like your ROI look at Gina Perry.
Actually, I've got it. I made so
you're
it's funny.
Gonna say
I texted,
you made a mistake?
I did because I made a change and I texted the wrong Damon Deal DeVico. I meant to text Junior. I'm texting him right now. But my picks in that race.
Here we go.
My picks in this race actually are 4, 13, 11, 1. When the 13 got in, yeah, there we go. So,
I tried to cover for you. I tried to make you look good.
Now,
when this horse wins,
I know.
doesn't count.
I know.
Just
I
take
agree.
it off.
I'm going to take it. I'm going to take that hit. But we'll adjust those later on. If we could adjust them right now, it would be great. But yeah, there we go. 4, 13, 11, 1. But again, a great angle at a value of 30 to 1 with the number 10.
And Mission North, who you've got in there now underneath. This horse was on and off my top 4, but I will use this horse.
Under the overpass.
What about under
that's
the
that's
I know,
13.
but you've got the one in there.
Oh, yes.
I'm talking about the one Mission North. That's okay. For Trombetta. Out of that same race with Eastern Extension, showed a little speed, had to ease back and tap the brakes a little bit. I think this one might be an all systems go type to the front and can hang around, no doubt, for Trombetta. Did you want to talk about the 13 under the overpass drawing in?
Here's the thing. I don't see a ton both on the breeding on this, but just taking a look, just kind of spinning the wheels a little bit on the dirt. What I noticed, especially in a couple of these ladder races, just not quite getting there. So it's just been something that's working. It's kind of a barn trend that's been working for Brittany Russell as of lately, of just trying them on the turf, and they usually end up getting a piece of it. So I'm kind of going for that 18%, 6 for 33 first time on the turf. Like I said, the breeding isn't totally there, but from what I just saw in the visuals, I just foresee possibly a little bit more, especially with that outside post on the turf.
Yeah, this horse is, if you're finally going to get probably an okay price on under the overpass, has been a beaten favorite every start. I mean, bet down to 1 to 2, 2 races back. Gets the double whammy though. Blinkers on and a first-time gelding. Might see some wake up there. Belial, the second down. You look at the dam. A little bit of turf. I was digging and digging. I just couldn't find anything significant. But hey, it's happened before. You throw them on there, and they're just completely different animal.
And especially at the morning line, 10 to 1. If that holds, absolutely holds some value there. Keith, though, you go 11, 4, 3, 10. There in race number 4. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5 in this allowance for the girls going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. You and I both have Miss Georgie, of course, for Lacey Gaudette, Javian Toledo from that win last time out, looking for win 2 in a row.
Super sharp, razor sharp last time in the 3 in Life or 3-year-olds for 40. But 2 back is what I liked as well. Was able to kind of sit there, make a move. Overcame some trouble, was carried out 4 or 5 pass from the rail, turning for home, and then kicked on eagerly. I guess the biggest question when you look at it, got to break clean. There's some speed. There might be a couple horses that are a little bit quicker than Miss Georgie in this particular race early. We'll see. Sweet Chugs just to the inside. Brazina's pretty quick. We'll see which way she goes. She might be this sharp. But coming back on short rest, 8 days, right? I think it's 8 days rest. Past 3 years on the dirt, though, make you feel a little bit more comfortable. Lacey Gaudette, last 3 years on the dirt, 5 for 18, 28% when coming back between 1 and 8 days. That's okay. 1 to 10 days rest, I should say. 10 for 18 in the money. Look really good. I think Bella Bettina is going to like what's going on up in front. Do we have a video of Bella Bettina on October the 28th? That also includes Barzina in there. Needed Barzina this day.
You did. I remember that you did.
I was not happy.
No.
Not happy and got in a little trouble. But Barzina makes the run and challenges, so we're going to see her back today. I think she's definitely a presence again. Bella Bettina worked outward about 3 to 4 wide, 5/16. She comes a little bit wider here, turning for home. But Bella Bettina just steadily grinds it out. You know, that's kind of what you're going to get from her. I think her draw is fine today. They're going to run away from her from a little bit early. But if she saves ground inside out from the 3/8 pole, I think it's going to work here. She'll challenge and I think grab a piece in the 5th. Anonymously is another one with a shot in here. But man, this Miss Georgie, razor sharp right now for Lacey Gaudet.
Hard to argue against there as Keith Fusto goes 3-1-7-5. And we will be right back after this commercial break for the rest of Saturday's card.
Thoroughbred racing is taking vital steps to make our sports safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
And we're back on the Laurel lawn here at the start of the rest of Saturday's card. Kicking off this jackpot super high 5, of course, we have a nice little carryover into there. $7,000, just a touch over $7,000. That'll climb up by the time we get to race number 6. This also kicks off the late pick 4 in this allowance for the 3-year-olds and up, going 1 mile and 16th on the turf, of course, as I mentioned, Laurel Lawn. Scratching the 6, 9, 13, and 16. Keith, you and I both go with the number 8, St. John's, for Jack Fisher. Forest Boys gets the call.
My alma mater, St. John's in Westminster. We had a tough basketball team. That's grade school, kindergarten through, 1st through 8.
Okay.
That's a good spot up there in Westminster. Great school, good people. But anyhow, St. John's, I look at the race. I really like Jack's Legends a lot. I mean, we'll get to him in a second. But St. John's, we've seen this move before. Hurdles, back to the flats, Jack Fisher. But this horse, he's definitely improved with the blinkers coming off on the turf. Steady increase. And I look at this race, and I see Forest Boys, and boy, when she gets up on the lead sometimes, you better pay attention. Yeah, she gets some good rides from off the pace. But this one here might be sneaky good up front today. I think he can handle challenges. That 2-back try, beating a horse like Brigade Commander, that horse came back to win it.
Race.
Churchill. Yeah, there's some good horses out of there. Ran a 76. So I take a shot with this 8 up on or near the lead with Forest, nurse and release, and digs in, I think, when challenges. But going to have to really dig in because I think Jack's Legend and even a horse like Fletcher, Furiously, they're all going to be rallying into it, that final 3/16 of a mile. Do we have video of the 3, Jack's Legend? We do. Thank you. You got to like this, and you got to love the family, right? A fool to talk show, man. One of everybody's favorite horses here, trained by Handy Smith. I think a multiple winner of the Maryland Million Turf. This one took a little while to get going. Won the debut sprinting. Closed to get up after some trouble at Colonial. Was a little bit further back than what I thought. And, you know, you look at the weather this day, and the leader got away with it up front. But really sustained after being put to a strong ride from the 3/8 pole. Another one, limited tries, showing big ability. That buyer figure certainly jumps up and grabs you right there. 86, that's a big number here for an A, that's for an A other than type. I think he's going to be able to save ground. Might lay a little bit closer today. Going to be a shorter price.
I agree.
But Jack's Legend, definitely pulling for a horse like that. You're looking at that Maryland breeding coming through for Michael Harrison, the whole Harrisons. I got to get up there. Have you been to Pharmacy yet? The brewery that the Harrison
I have not.
They have up there off of Black Rock Road. It's like 10 minutes from me. I got to get over there one day and try it. I think they've got a Talk Show Man ale.
Do they really?
Yeah, that we got to try out and sample.
Yes.
Yeah, Jack's Legend. No, I think he's going to be tough from off the pace here today.
Agreed. I like Furiously as well for Grand Motion underneath Kevin Gomez, riding well for the barn right now.
Yes, and you've got an angle. Second off of a break, 29% for this barn. Second Lasix, second time gelding. There's improvement there for Furiously. That takes a step forward. And Dave Robin, we talked about Fletcher today. Had a really good gallop out a couple races back that he had picked up on in that Grade 2 Penn Mile. Lasix off last time, just didn't quite kick in. Was kind of in position with Jack's Legend, just didn't have that final push. I think you'll see a different horse today rallying from the top of the stretch home. 8-3-1-12. 8 just holds a little bit better value, I think, in here.
As we go into race number 7 here, in this allowance going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up, scratch in the 1A and then scratch in the 5 Bourbon Music. Keith, you go with the number 1 in stage left on the rail for David Jacobson and Angel Cruz.
He's a Honey Badger out, right? The other part of the entry. Bourbon Music is out, but man, this pace is certainly going to be honest in race number 7. Stage left, the elephant in the room, the Lasix, but this horse is back on Lasix. He's run different figures, much faster, much better. This is a key for me. Again, Angel Cruz has got to avoid traffic that opening 1/4 of a mile, but when he's right, I think he can sit from just off of it to get it done. He got away with some trouble, I think, a couple races back and made a big move to win over this racetrack. I like the 1 stage left. I think Classer, you got to look at, man. Kieran, he's just done a great job off the claim here. This guy is razor sharp right now. Classer up to a 96 last time out over this racetrack, and you're going to see it. And he's got the ability to kind of adapt to any kind of pace scenario. That's what I like about Classer. He's going to go here, rates off of it, that 3 wide bid into the battle, and just going to go clear by 3 1/4. Right behind him, Factor It In, who we like that day. He's had a real good trip as well. He just runs away from him. Factor It In comes right back off the second off the break to get it done with an 88. This one just holding really good form. Well, if you're looking for a horse that maybe has a little bit of a price to make that run off the pace, because you're going to have some speed. We talked about it. Pirate Rick, definitely stage left before. Classer's going to be a little for. Had some speed taken out with Bourbon Music. But 3's overdue. He's due to, you've got him in the mix. He's due to make that run.
Yep.
I've been waiting for this guy. It's been a few races. You go 3 back at Delaware. He's got runs over this racetrack that are certainly dangerous against this group.
1648 for Keith Fustel in race number 7. Race number 8 is an allowance optional claiming 55,000, going 5.5 here on the turf. Scratch in the 8 Prodigy Doll. Keith, you have the number 7 on top in main line. This is in the barn of Brittany Russell, Javian Toledo, looking for win number 2 in a row.
I mean, I just think this one is another one going up and up for the barn. Switched to the left lead last time about mid-stretch, was able to sustain. And what I like, she ran down a loose leader. I like horses that do that. Had no help. She just ran her own race from the back of the pack. Certainly the internals were quick, but this horse is charging home in its races since the barn change. And you're looking at the morning line, and I think you're going to get a little bit better value with main line as compared to maybe the 3 Shambo and Can't Buy Love. It was hard for me to separate these 3, but from a betting standpoint, a little bit later in the card, you got to search, especially if you're down a little bit. But take nothing away. Her form is good enough to win this race. I don't even think she needs to step up much more to get it done, because she's going to see Shoshana and Shambo. These two, if they both break cleanly, they're going to be on a little bit of a match race around the turn. Shambo is just, she's really good, though. I mean, she's like the queen of Colonial. Back in here off a little freshening, a couple bullet works. She's beaten the right kind down there in Virginia. Would be no surprise. And Can't Buy Love. Video of this one, right? Which date did we use? The 3-back race, I think, down at Colonial, July 22nd in the Andy Guest. This one has faced some really salty fields. We're going to pick this one up again inside, worked outward 4 wide, a touch of traffic through the stretch, but closes up quite well, I thought. There we go, the last 16th of a mile, only getting beaten 3/4 of length, looking for that first win of the year for Can't Buy Love.
And there we have it.
There you go.
There we have it with Keith Fustel in 7-10-3-6. And let's talk about the finale here for Saturday's card in the maiden claiming 12-5, bookending it with those types of races. Mile and 16th on the dirt today for the 3, 4, and 5-year-old. Scratch in number 11, Pascal Moon. Keith, you and I both have the number 8 on the outside on top. In court contender, you have a nice little Anthony Pecoraro stat for us.
Yeah, he's done well with his maidens when he's come down here year in and year out, but also in the dirt when it's second time Lasix with these maiden claimers. Gets it done. 57% with an ROI of 374. Out of the same race with Step Ahead at the 1-turn mile. We've got video. Or we just do the stat? Okay, we're just going to go stat on that one. My bad. I thought I was going to try to use that one, but that's okay. But anyhow, had a little bit of a tricky position, caught in between horses, rated along down the backside. Step Ahead was up front vying, and this one just didn't really kick it in till very late. If we go back, maybe we can show a little bit later. And he finished quite well that last 16th of a mile. Step Ahead, though, when you're looking at this field, might have an advantage as the lone speed. I'm kind of hoping a couple horses from the inside go that can keep Step Ahead honest, because I'll tell you what, he ran pretty well because he made 2 moves in that race last time, was up, the leader got away from him, he challenged again just to fade a little bit late. Looks like one of these two, a fresh Jerry Robb horse and General JR, maybe, if things get hot and contested, to run them down late. 8-7-9-1. Stat kind of put me over the top with Court Contender.
And there we have it for Keith Fustel for our picks for Saturday's card. Let's touch in to a couple of those picks here. Let's kick things off with a value play.
Okay.
Of course, your first value play of the day is in race number 3 and Succeed at 6-1 for Raymond Ginter Jr. and Martina Rojas.
Yeah, again, I just think this one has run some okay races over this racetrack. I'm looking at some speed in here that I'm not going to completely trust, and I'm going to trust in Martina to work this horse over towards the inside early, take some rating, maybe get covered up a little bit, because I think he's got a sneaky move that can run this field down.
And you also go with in race number 6 with St. John's in race number 8 at 9-2 for Jack Fisher and Forrest Boyce.
Kind of all about the flow here. I mean, if things do get contested, Jack's Legend and a couple of these other ones, Furiously, and the Chucky Lawrence horse on the outside definitely can run. But I'm looking at this horse now. The blinkers came off. Recent form is good on the flat and beat the right kind a couple races back when breaking the maiden. This horse came back to run well at Churchill Downs. Get to the front, I think can handle a little bit of heat and gut it out here late.
And you also have a long shot for us here today, starting in race number 2 with Formal Order at 20-1 for Billy Campbell and Xavier Perez.
Yeah, I just like, looking at a barn that just comes out of the woodwork. They had their eyes. They must have liked something. They're going to go ahead and raise up off the nickel, go to the turf, preferred surface for this one in a race with enough pace. When this guy's right, and he's got an okay work coming into it, at 20-1, he gets it across the board bet and a top and bottom for me. I'll take anywhere close to 20 on that one.
There we have it for Keith Fustel with our value and long shot plays of the day. It's a bit of old news, but I wanted to touch on it. I touched on it earlier before the summer, but just wanted to kind of recognize, of course, the inaugural winner of the Ferris Allen Bootstraps Scholarship Award, and that is to Alvaro Barajas. He actually works for Damon Deal DeVico. He works as a hot walker, and he's also in charge of the feed schedule. Damon says he's always stepped up to help out around the barn for anything he's asked to do. He's been helpful assisting as a translator, so certain employees receive the proper instructions. Extremely serious about his studies, and his scholarship will go a long way helping him achieve his personal goals. An awesome member of society. He's at the racetrack all week from 5 to 10 a.m. and then he takes his college courses, and he's into psychology, so he's going to pursue a psychology degree. He's right now for next fall at university. He's going to also his options are Bowie State University, University of Maryland, and Towson. But yes, clinical psychology is his main attribute. So congratulations to him, and we will take it to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches.
All right, good luck.